So recently, I was on the internet and I found a news article on how farting has now been outlawed in Malawi. I mean, that's from like 2011. And I'm thinking to myself, who the hell is going to start investigating a silent killer? Anyways, it's about time we start this podcast. Let's hit it. Welcome to Breaktime on Westside, your number one podcast channel giving you the best in breaktime podcast shows. The man on the mic is Sir Denver B, and this is Last Week Was Fire because we have some very interesting news coming up next, and it's also episode 10. This is a very, very big episode. We hit 2 digits. Now, to kick us off, I'm going to pick something that's a little close to the crotch. Now, a Zambian woman was found to be guilty of sleeping with over 200 men, all who are either clients or job seekers, promising them certain favors. Now, usually this is something that tends to happen in a couple of different places, but it's mostly men that do it. Now, this was in a Zambian bank called Zanaco, and the woman is supposedly supposed to be arrested and charged. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not entirely gonna defend women here, but usually when it's done to you guys, people don't tend to do as much, and it kind of seems like a patriarchy. But at least now, if a woman is doing such, they will be arrested. That is very good news for us men, because it means that our seed shall not be spilt for nothing. We will not choose to go and give it to someone with the hopes of getting something out of it without, at least thinking about it. Because, I want to get a job, I want to get such and such services that are executive from the bank and so on. Because that's how people tend to take advantage of you. They go, they find you, they think that you're a bit desperate, and they kind of like how you look. They're like, you know what, we can settle this, but, under bedroom situations. Now, it's not like Kenya is immune from this, because let's be honest, we've all had a couple of stories here and there of people in different sectors, mainly hospitality, I've been told. Also, the banking sector in Kenya has some executives that would require you to sleep with them before they can either get you a job or give you a certain kind of service and so on. But it's mostly for getting jobs, because the youth are all about getting jobs. And it usually ends up giving the banking sector a very bad name. Because you think about it though. Someone is going in all hopeful that they want to get a job, that they're going to work in the banking sector. The banking sector has a couple of perks. The only one which I can think of is, probably lower interest rates. So you can get a mortgage, set up your home, and you can improve your lifestyle, based on a couple of loans here and there, because you have very low interest rates. But when you think about it from another point of view, you're like, should I really go in there and just sleep with this old guy or this old woman, because clearly also women are getting into it because equality, and still expect the same thing? Because women are very good at backstabbing. I'm not saying men aren't, but women tend to be very good at backstabbing. They like to go back on a deal because women don't know how to choose. And this is something I was being told by a woman, so please, y'all don't come and kill me for this. I'm just echoing someone else's words. So, when you kind of put thought into that, it wasn't a very good thing, but, because sometimes dry spell, yes, hits people. And it kind of does explain how a lot of STDs, HIV tend to be spread around Southern Africa, because this is not the first case of, a lot of sleeping around. A Zambian university, or a Zambian or a Zimbabwean university, about a year or 2 or 3 years back, was involved in a study where they were trying to find out the prevalence rate, how many people had been infected with HIV. And they found that like 99% of the whole university's student body had HIV. Now, moving it further down, places like South Africa, for instance, also have very high numbers of people who are living with HIV. And it's not like it stopped people. Hell, like you look at the Swazis, the Lesothos, like there's a lot of HIV that's traveling around Southern Africa. It almost feels as if it's usually bred there and then transported to the rest of the world. No offense to anyone from SA if you're hearing this, because, I wouldn't want a virtual arrow sent through my chest. But You all just need to stop sleeping around. At least for us in Kenya, if we want to be bribed, there's other ways that we can be bribed, As usual, we say, toa chai or leta ya macho. In other words, we're pretty much just asking for a simple cash bribe. But besides that, please don't sleep around. If you're going to do it, always use that latex or she gonna get your paychecks. That's what I always say. Moving it a little further ahead. Slightly sad news. Robert Mugabe was buried not too long ago. He was buried this past week. And, people are still on about, it's good riddance is gone. He killed a lot of people, of which, let's be very honest, he also did some good for his country. Because from what I hear, there are some people in his country who are claiming that right now they are suffering. It's a claim. I can't back it up. But some people are claiming that the country is suffering right now because he's gone. And Robert Mugabe, I will not lie, did love Zimbabwe quite a bit. Yes, he did clip a few people here and there. But let's not forget that the Mugabe quotes had to have come from somewhere. The Mugabe quotes that float around the internet had to have come from somewhere. And that's something that I have to put mad respect on President Mugabe for. Now, moving it further ahead. Now, if you are in Kenya and you've been watching the news lately, then you'd probably know about this whole story with wife swapping that happened around Western Kenya. If you're not in Kenya, then let me educate you on something. Western Kenya is pretty much the hub of all things weird. If there's anything that involves sex and it's weird and it's not BDSM, you should probably go to Western Kenya. That's where most of those stories will come from. Because in Western Kenya, you will hear more open cases of incest. You will hear stories about, there's this whole myth about if you have HIV and you sleep with a virgin, you'll be well. So you'll find that, uncles will go and get small girls and sleep with them. It's not, to be very honest, I'm even disgusted saying that, but it's stuff that happens there. And also about 2 years back, there was also this story of a man who paid off a debt by giving away his wife. A debt of about 900 bob, of which I will tell any woman, I believe that you are priceless. I believe that you have value. But, priceless can also mean free. So at least, the guy got a bargain. Looking at Western again, though. Now, it wasn't even paying a debt this time where a woman was involved. It was a cheating scam, which ended up turning into a wife swap. Now, the funny bit is, so Guy A, I'm just going to refer to him as Guy A. So Guy A's wife was cheating on him with Guy B. So Guy B, who happens to be a neighbor to Guy A, as he was busy doing that, so Guy A goes ahead and decides to check stuff out, realizes, Guy B has a pretty fine wife. And he's like, what? I might as well just go and get somebody's ass. So Shorty from Guy B comes through, they start banging, and it becomes this whole thing where they're like, what? Instead of cheating, how about we just swap wives? And they did. They actually swapped wives. I don't know which one's more interesting. The fact that they decided to swap wives, or the fact that, these guys are so comfortable with it and the whole situation seems very okay. Because the only situation where I've seen this happen is more of a fictional sense. If you guys have watched the music video for E40's song called Episode with Chris Brown and T.I., that's kind of the situation where it ended up on. It's a proper dilemma though. How exactly will you go and explain to your relatives that I swapped wives because one of them was cheating on me, or when I saw the other guy's wife and the guy was busy sleeping with my woman, I was like, let me take this one. Like, what if your relatives liked your wife? How do you explain that? But anyways, that is your wife. I believe that, some things need to be changed. Some people have claimed that, the marriage certificates should come with an expiry date, almost like an actual contract, so that, you can choose to renew it. It's something that I'm still not of opinion for, maybe because I'm a bit old school like that. But anyways, let's move it on. And actually, speaking of marriages and weddings, there's this Instagram campaign that's been going on, and it's been received quite well. So if y'all know, or at least if y'all have actually seen it, it's about Rihanna going to perform at a certain man's wedding. Now this guy decides to text Riri slide into her DMs and be like, hey Rihanna, I'm sure you don't know who I am and you probably don't even care, but my wife has been your biggest fan. Even when you changed your hair color to red, my wife did the same. Well, my wife to be did the same. And we're getting married, and to be honest, it's not like I have a lot of money, but I would really, really love it if you came to perform for my wife. My wife would love it so much. Now, to be very, very honest, this sounds like a guy who genuinely cares about his wife. You know, the your face is my throne type of guys. You know, Bien, I'm talking about you. But, you know, in addition to the whole, like, I care about my wife, like, I'm gonna move on to the bit where it seems like a bit of, you know, clout was being chased with all of this. So when he sends this message to Riri, Riri is like, for those of you guys that don't know who Riri is, or the Riri I'm talking about is Rihanna, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be said, Rihanna. She was okay with it. She was like, congratulations, you better treat her right. This isn't going to be easy, you know, because the guy was like, you know, how many likes or follows will I need for you to come and perform a song or two at our wedding reception? This guy was given a pretty good answer. He was told, you know, 2 million likes, 500k followers. And the guy is like, thank you so much. I can't believe you've even opened this. I'll try my best. And of course, I will treat her right. Now, as at now, to be very honest, this guy has received, and he actually opened an Instagram for this. It's Rihanna_wedding. As of now, he has 143,000 followers, and it has gotten, let's see, nearly 500,000 likes. And I'm not gonna say that I'm the biggest fan of this, because yes, like, online support for someone is good, but I feel as though Rihanna probably should have been like, okay, I'll see what I can do, or I'm busy, let me see what I can do. Then on the actual day of the wedding, she turns up and just performs. Like, that's the type of shit that I'd ask to do. Because I'm guessing the 2 million likes and the 500,000 follows is a good thing in terms of publicity. But in my opinion, I feel like some things should just be done from the good of your heart. Because honestly, this feels like a publicity stunt in as much the same way the whole egg with the most Instagram likes also seemed like a bit of a publicity stunt. But that's just me. Anyways, it's about time you head back to work. Always put that process in that progress, or be the prevention. If you guys want to hit me up with any feedback, it is at breaktime_westside on IG and at Bagaka the D on Twitter if you want to holler at me on that. Also, Breaktime on Westside on Facebook. I will see you guys later.